Hi, it's Tuesday. That means another Chrome OS Chromebook question and answer. I am sorry for just getting a little bit, starting a little bit late. I had to give Dallas a bath, so he was being a little difficult, so it took a little longer than I expected. And in case you're wondering who Dallas is, this is Dallas, my new addition to my family. Mm, Such a cutie pie, isn't he? Yeah. Anyway, we'll jump into these Chrome OS questions. I got quite a few today. Not as many as last time and time before that. I took a week before off, so I have a few questions today, and we'll go ahead and jump into those. And if you have any questions, you can ask them over here in the. Well, yeah, if you're watching question and answers live, you can check over here, and you should be able to ask a question over on this side, kind of like down there, I think. Um, if it's not live, you can ask questions on YouTube in the comments. I'll check those uh, before the next one and get those answered. I might even answer them in the comments if uh, it's something I've maybe answered before. Um, so we'll go ahead and jump into these questions. And all right, first couple questions I'm gonna get to are from anonymous users. The first one is I respect a lot. Oh, hold on. He linked me an article, or she, um, about Google dropping coverage for or support for um, ext file or having a brain for it. Ext 2, 3, and 4 support. Um, I'm wondering what my thoughts on it. Personally, I, I kind of don't care. Um, I don't have any of those uh, formats, drive formats, so it doesn't affect me, to be honest. So that's why I don't care. Um, and according to that cross bug that's being passed around about them dropping that support, not many people, according to their data, use those file types or those that format type. So it looks like the Linux community, the people that use that format a lot, are getting upset because Chrome OS is doing this, but not many of them use Chrome OS, so it doesn't really affect them. Um, Chrome OS users, there might be a handful out of how many ever Chrome OS users there are that are affected by this, but a handful versus busloads is the difference. I read the bug report all the way through, and a lot of people in there, a lot of people were complaining. A lot of the non-developer people were complaining about it. Um, that does no good. Um, really, commenting on a bug report just it doesn't help or hinder a bug or an issue report um, on those sites. It really just kind of annoys the developers, I think. Um, so unless you're actually committing changes and doing something in that bug, you shouldn't be commenting. If it's something you want to see happen, star it. The more stars, the higher priority they're going to give it. But if people are commenting on it, it's gonna, it's not gonna help or hinder it. I really don't think. It's just going to really annoy everyone else that's trying to work on it. All right, next one. When it comes to appearance of technology, I'm not really interested. I just want something to function, but even I had to question Acer's new 13. It doesn't look appealing at all, but I might still purchase it. How does appearance of a Chromebook affect your opinion of it? I'm interested because you have a Pixel, and that has the amazing little multicolored thing on the lid. Should companies like Acer spend a little more money on design and less on specs and features? Um, First off, when I first read this, I kind of missed that less on specs and features. Um, so, first off, no, they should not spend less on specs and features. Um, should they spend a little more time on the aesthetic design? Probably. Um, Nowadays, people don't want bricks, uh, brick type laptops. They want something that's aesthetically pleasing for the most part. Um, Here's what I wrote up last night when I was getting ready, just rough guidelines to help me go through this, but bear with me. The aesthetic design of a Chromebook is purely opinion. The light bar is cool, but some of the other um, aesthetic choices also have function. The piano hinge, for example, on the Pixel also acts as a heat sink to draw heat from the motherboard or the internals. The little Chrome tab divot type thing, the upside down Chrome tab, and that serves as an easy way to help open up the Chromebook Pixel. Um, Aesthetic design isn't everything though. I don't think. Uh, it does kind of help, but when I look at aesthetic design, I try to see, does it have a function also, or is it just there to look pretty? So if it's just there to look pretty, to me, that's I don't. It might look nice, but for me, if it doesn't have a function, why put it on there? To be honest, for me, um, now like the light bar, yeah, that's cool. Did the Pixel need it? Not really, but it's a nice thing to have. Um, the little Chrome upside down Chrome divot to open it, that's awesome because you just you got that lip right there, lift right up, one finger. Piano hinge helps open that up, one finger. Um, and the piano hinge, yeah, it sinks heat away and it looks nice. So as long as the aesthetic design has a function, I like it. I really do. I love them. But if it's just aesthetic design, just to look pretty, sometimes then I'll question it. Another aesthetic design for the Chromebook Pixel that I've seen HP actually use was the keyboard, the little channel keyboard part, where it's kind of got the little channel around it because the speakers are under the keyboard facing up, and it helps move up the sound. That I'd like to see in a few more Chromebooks. So, the CR48 had the speaker facing down in your lap. So yeah, that's how most laptops were. But for me, yeah, mostly aesthetic design, as long as it has a function, affects my opinion on a Chromebook. Um, if it's just aesthetic design to be pleasing, I'll just skip over that design feature and look at something else that might work or do something for me. All right, and now, unless I get some questions from the question and answers, I have quite a few questions, 4 or 5, I believe, from Dean Brickland. Dean catches almost every one of these, so he has a lot of questions often, so which is wonderful because I don't get that many questions, and when I do, they're mostly from Dean. So at least I'm helping get someone's wanting to hear my opinion, which is great. So, all right. So, first question from Dean is, if you could change one major thing about Chrome OS, what would it be and why? Let's see. I'd like to be able to remote into another Chromebook. That way I could help family members that have Chromebooks with their Chromebook. That is being worked on. I know it's been being worked on for a while. They're trying to find a secure way to do it because they want everything with Chrome OS to be secure. But yeah, that's a minor thing. That's not a major thing, I don't think. For major, let's see. Oh, that's a tough one. How about this? I will do a Google Plus post asking for people's opinions, and next Tuesday we'll go over some of those. Because right now I don't think I would change anything major, really. Maybe being able to change the system font with a Google Web font, maybe. But again, I think that's just a minor change. It's not really needed. It's just added customization. But that's what I would do. So let's see. Next one. How large is Chrome OS? How much of the SSD is taken up by it? Chrome OS by itself isn't that large, but with the SSD only being 16 gigs, you're going to lose roughly about 4.5 gigabytes to the system because it's going to have two copies. One that's like a fresh one, and then one that you're using. And if the one you're using gets compromised, it'll switch to the fresh one and delete that. And you want to make another copy for fresh. That's for the verified boot, I do believe. So you're going to lose roughly about 4 gigabytes of that 16 gigs. So you're going to have about 9 something left. Or it depends how many extensions and whatnot too. I do believe extensions take up a little of the system, but it's going to be roughly about 4 gigabytes, I think, for the operating system alone. If you don't have your apps and extensions and whatnot, I can do a little more research on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. It's going to be about 4 gigabytes. And that's just because of the dual copy. I'm going to go ahead and jump over on this one for Dean. Sony spent a lot of time on design, and they're pulling out of markets apparently. For most people, features are the big thing in smartphones. Or wait. For most people, features are a big thing in smartphones. Are they like that in laptops and Chromebooks? I would think so. Personally, I prefer features over aesthetics. If they find a reason to make an aesthetic feature, a functional feature, that's great. Like I was just talking about with the Pixels aesthetic features that a lot of them use, it's great. But aesthetic design just for aesthetic design, as I was just saying a little while ago, doesn't really do much for me. Okay. Some people complain about the screens in Chromebooks. A lot of hate for the TFT panels because they apparently cause a washed out color look on the screen. Do you notice this at all? IPS seems to be the higher quality one that everyone's looking for in laptops, but that's scarce in Chromebooks, I think. Could you go through explaining different types of screens for everyone? No, I can't because I don't know the difference between the screen types. I don't notice the differences between screen types. That's not something that I really care about is the screen type. I don't notice the difference, so it doesn't bother me. I'd love to go through the differences, but I don't know the differences, so I'm sorry. Okay, back over here for Dean again. What different or what unique features are in there? Or sorry. Oh, I can't read. What unique features are there in Chrome OS as opposed to other operating systems? Well, the verified boot for one. Each user is encrypted, so there's no cross sharing of data. Except when you and like the administrator, like the owner of the Chromebook, can share Wi-Fi connections with the other users, so they don't have to set those up. But the main one's verified boot. In the sandboxed, well, Chrome uses that too. Sandboxes. Yeah, the verified boot, the simplified BIOS, which allows the quick boot, the about 8-second boot time. That's helped by the SSD, but it's also it doesn't have a ton of stuff to go through to load up. Let's see what else. I think those are really the two defining features that separate Chrome OS from other OSs, I think. Alrighty. I was wondering what you think of Twerk. I'm always interested in third-party software. Okay, for those that don't know, Twerk is a desktop piece of software that you can take Android installation files, APKs, and convert them for use on Chrome and Chrome OS. It takes a little bit of tweaking, or not tweaking, but work to get the, I think it's called Acron runtime running on Chrome OS. It doesn't take that much time because I actually did try it out once, but I didn't have a very good success rate. I did not use Twerk, which would require me to kind of find the APKs put them on my PC, download that app, install that app, and go through it. I actually used a Android app to pull the APKs down and then strip them, or not strip them, convert them to uh, unpacked extensions to install on my Chromebook. I just used my phone, they'd pull it, ask me where I'd want to share it, so I put it on my Google Drive, unzip it, excuse me, unzip it and put it on my Chromebook and install it as an unpacked extension. Some of them worked, some of them did not. Some of them partially worked. For shits and giggles, I did Snapseed. I could open a picture, I could edit the picture, I just couldn't save it to the Chromebook. A workaround for that would have been me just taking a screenshot and cropping out everything else on the screen. And it would have been a higher resolution, because if I used it on the Pixel, it would have been huge because of the resolution on the Pixel. I think something like Twerk and even the Android app that I tried out, it's promising. It's just, you're always going to find things that don't work. I know with the Acron, or whatever, however it's pronounced, that runtime, it doesn't have Google services support, which is understandable. It's perfectly understandable. I'd like to see Google, since they bought Timely, I'm going to keep saying this, since Google bought Timely, I would love to see Timely on my Chromebook Pixel. I think it would look beautiful. Unfortunately, I can't get it to work because of the sync feature from it'll sync your different devices. So it uses Google Play services to sync your alarms. So I can't use it on my Chromebook because the Google Play services doesn't work, so it won't load up properly. It'll try to connect and it just crashes. So it's a promising thing, I think. However, it'd probably be better for the whole to wait for official ones, or use like the Android app where it converts it directly from your phone. I wouldn't trust doing a desktop version, simply because people will go out and find a version online of an APK they want to use instead of trying to get it off their phone. That would be dangerous because there could be malware in that Android app, and you want to give it access in your Chromebook if it's compromised. But yeah, that's that. Let's see. Another question from Dean from the questions over here. My laptop BIOS menu is stored in a chip on the motherboard. Is the BIOS menu for Chrome OS stored on the SSD? No, it's also on a chip, I believe. It's just the way they designed Chrome OS that it's a smaller set of stuff to go through. When it boots up, the BIOS are simply not as complex as other operating systems. Let's see. I remember during Google I/O that that the Android L update will bring notification and integration with Chromebooks. Things such as SMS and notification about low battery. Sounds awesome. Apparently, you can sign into your Chromebook just by having your phone near your Chromebook. In, in the same way, you can unlock your phone with a smartwatch. Trusted devices is what I believe it was called. But does the Chromebook version have a name? It sounds really cool and offers a really unique experience. Does it work on the Android L preview? All right, I think you're talking about. Um, they called it Easy Unlock. That if you had your phone near your Chromebook, you wouldn't have to type in your password. It is the same thing as the trusted devices, which I think they renamed also. I think it's all just combined now to personal unlock or something like that. I don't remember how they rebranded it, but I don't know if it works in Android L preview because I don't have Android L preview. I didn't. I don't bother getting previews. I'm not a developer. Um, I don't take the time to just squeeze that in. And I don't want to mess up my phone. It's my only landline, or my only lifeline. Apologies. Um, but I really hope it's optional. I hope they don't turn it on, like update it and like, oh, here's this feature. We're gonna turn it on automatically for you. I'd rather not that happen. Um, but um, but yeah, I forgot now. I forgot where I was going. uh, yeah, I hope it's just strictly optional. Okay, Dean again over here. I'm jumping from Dean over here to Dean from my forum. So, yeah, my forum question. Um, Dean didn't know that Google bought Timely. He started using that ever since I mentioned it a while ago, and it's awesome. Would Timely would Timely be a widget on the desktop or full app replace your replace your whole desktop? Ooh, I think it'd draw too much power or too much. Um, it would draw too much if it was the background. It'd kill a battery real quick. Um, and the widget wouldn't be so cool, I don't think. Uh, I'd have it as a standalone app. Just I'd bring it up and I'd like the little countdown thing. Well, here I'll just show everybody real quick. If it'll open. All right. How that changes is awesome, and it would look awesome on a Pixel, I think. The but yeah, I'd use it as a actual app instead of like the desktop or a widget, because the widget literally just and get this to, let me put the widget up. Apologies again. All right, because of my background, you couldn't really see it, so I had to put a blank photo behind it, but that's what the widget looks like. It doesn't change as nifty, so I personally wouldn't use a widget on my Chromebook. It would be, I would make it an app, like I said. Okay, another question from Dean from my form. Where can you see Chromebooks or Chrome OS being used outside of personal computing? It seems to be being used quite a lot in schools and other forms of education, but can you see it being used by businesses, office type environments, just like Windows? I would love to see Chrome OS spread into all different types of usages. All right. This actually, um, while they focus a lot on education, there are some like small businesses that use Chrome OS and Chromebooks. Um, there are also even some city governments that I believe have gone Google and they've gone and used Chrome OS and Chromebooks with 3G for their utility personnel. Um, I don't remember exactly which ones. I'm sure if you Google, you can find out. Um, over the past years, I've read and heard things of businesses, small businesses like bakeries and whatnot, using Chrome OS and Chromebooks. Uh, and even I don't, like I said, I don't remember what city I remember reading about, but I don't remember what city it was that started using Chromebooks. But it, like, even with police departments, they could do Chromebooks instead of the full-fledged laptops. It'd take up a little less space, and it'd be quicker. Like if it was turned off, they wouldn't have to wait quite a while for it to turn back on. It'd be a quicker boot time, so they'd have quicker access to the information. But yeah, there are other usages being used for Chrome OS and Chromebooks already. They're just not as advertised as much. And Dean had another question. This is the actual final question we have. Is there a terminal or command prompt in Chrome OS? Very short answer, because I don't mess with it. Yes. Control T will open up the command prompt window. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. This is what that looks like. So yes, it's in there. Have I messed with it? Do I know what I can do with it? Not really, but it's there. I'm actually going to check the questions from last week. Or not questions, but comments from last week's. Excuse me. Comments on here? Nope, no comments. Okay. Last week I flew through my questions. I think in about half an hour. I just simply had a lot to do. Can people use the Android SDK with Chrome OS? I don't believe so. I know there are some developers that are trying to figure out a way to make a web-based Android development kit. I don't have the knowledge to do Android development. To be honest, I'd like to learn, but I don't have the patience right now or the time. I really don't have the time to sit down and do it. But I would like the time to do it, to be honest. Like I said, as far as I know, no, the Android SDK cannot be used on Chrome OS without going into developer mode and installing a different OS. Or there being some major workaround. installing a unpacked extension that another developer created to do an SDK or a development kit. Yeah. So sorry, no. I'm actually going to go through and look at my other videos to see if there were any comments. Actually, it doesn't look like any of them have comments on them. Yep, it doesn't look like any of them have. Okay, so it doesn't look like I have any more questions, and I think I'll just cut it off at about 45 minutes. See you guys next week. Make sure if you have any questions, you can comment down below. You can use my Google form, which the link down there is also down below. You can go to Chromebook Central. The link is also in the description. You can hit me up on Google Plus. Yeah. So, oh, you got one more question from Dean, then I'll step out. Can you swap Chrome Beta and Chrome Canary in Chrome OS? What is the difference? What different channels are there? Okay, so for Chrome OS standard versions, you can switch from developer, beta, and stable. Developer, you'll find a lot of bugs on. Beta, slightly fewer. Stable should not have that many bugs. That's the consumer level. There is a way to put Canary on there. I don't remember exactly how. But Chromebooks can run a version of Canary. I'm going to assume it has a lot more bugs even than developer mode or developer channel. So technically there's 4 channels, 3 accessible to everybody. Canary, you have to do a little work to get on, but I don't remember which one they are or how to get it on there. I share this Chromebook with my wife, so the Chromebook Pixel stays unstable. My Chromebook, Samsung Chromebook, I have on beta. My CR48 is on dev. So I might try to figure out how to put Canary on my CR48, but probably not. But yeah, alrighty. I'm gonna call it a day. I got a couple of things to do around the house. I gotta play with Dallas. And I will see you guys next week. Remember, I'm not a Google employee. You got questions, you can go comment below. Use the form in the description. Go to Chromebook Central. Links in the description. Hit me up on Google Plus. Yeah. See you next week.